they all need to get planted out. These are all the skins. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a whole bunch of random things that I've been putting off and I really had to get them done. So one of those things was to prepare and preserve a whole bunch of feijoas. So I've done that now. These are all the skins and that was about 2 days worth of feijoas, and this is all the delicious inside flesh of the feijoa. So I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to freeze it because I have made a whole bunch of things already with the feijoa. I made some crumble and I made some chutney, but I want to have some frozen so that I can pop them in smoothies and juices. So that's where this lot is going. And then this is what I've got to do next. So I've had these growing on the windowsill for ages now and they all need to get planted out. So this is a choco that is starting to sprout from the bottom. So you can see the little roots and also the shoot. These are just some random cuttings as well. I've got perennial basil. I'm not too sure. I can't remember what this one is. I'll have to look it up. Mulberries, some more mulberries up here. This is a fig cutting that I was given. Elderflower cuttings or elderberry, and those all have plenty of roots, so they need to get into a pot ASAP. This is a little house plant. This is a Hoya. So this is just a cutting off one of my other house plants because I want more house plants. This is the taro, so if you watch the podcast, this was the taro that I had and it's got a shoot on it, so I need to get that in the ground. In here are some little seeds, so those are seeds from my Hawaiian guava that I saved. And yeah, look at that delicious bowl of goodness. So I always have things growing on my windowsill. I don't know, I just love seeing them sprout, and I love growing new things. So a lot of the things on my windowsill are cuttings or things that people have gifted and swapped and traded with me, and I do like to try and root them first in a jar of water just so that I can see that they have some roots on the way before I pop them in the soil. And yeah, I've got this little pot here. So this is like a candle, an empty candle, and I've got a little pot and I'm just going to cut it off so it fits in here nicely, and then I can pop my little Hoya in here, and I'll have another house plant from a empty candle. I don't know where we're going to put it. I have very minimal decorating in this house, and what I do have is plenty of plants, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to buy more stuff, so I'm just going to plant more plants and keep decorating the house. I want to come up with an idea actually for this, for my pantry. I want to have some sort of hanging garden and have some plants like hanging down, because that's a lot of white space and it gets really good light from these windows here. So I think it'll be a really good place to put a hanging garden. So I'm thinking about what I can do there. Oh, and also what I picked up from a swap meet the other day is some dragon fruit cuttings. So I want to get these planted as well. They're very spiky. So that'll be interesting. Let me know if you're growing dragon fruit, because I have never grown it. So we'll see. I got this big one as well. So I think I might cut this piece off and have 3. Okay, so I've just popped some of the feijoa flesh into these muffin tins to freeze it, so then I can have individual portions that I can pull out, pop in smoothies or juices, and then the rest I've popped in these compostable bags that I'm going to freeze as well, just with name and date, so I can pull these out and use them in baking or smoothies, all the things. This is a fennel that's gone to seed, but I'm going to remove it and I'm going to pop something else in this space. So I feel like we've got room for something. I'm not sure what. A middle layer. Anyway. All the wind we've had. We've had so much wind. The poor garden. Oh, our worm. The lid. Sorry, worms. Oh, look. What is that? We have a baby passion fruit. This beautiful basil is growing from a crack in the paver. I don't know if you can see that. It's literally just a crack in the paver, self-seeded, so lush and healthy. Honestly. So this is my messy corner, my potting station. Lots of random stuff in here that needs a really good tidy up. And this is just a random pot full of random seeds. So these are some type of lemon or citrus that I've chucked in here. Those are a million passion fruit seedlings. There's a pineapple, another passion fruit. So yeah, might need to give this a bit of a tidy up. But this, can't get over it. For reference, this is the basil that I'm actually trying to grow, which does not look as impressive. Although I've been putting off planting these cuttings, I am really excited to see them burst into life now that they are planted. Over the next few weeks, they'll be able to really take off and start growing as they have more access to nutrition. So very happy to get this job done and dusted. Okay, so that's done. That was a job that had been on my list for quite a while. I planted out nearly all of those seedlings. I just have these ones to go. So this is the house plant, the Hoya. So we're going to do that. And I'm just going to wait a little bit longer for these ones to get roots. This one actually only went in on Thursday. And it's already sprouting roots, so that's just in a few days. And I'm going to direct plant this into the garden, probably out in the front food forest style garden, just because this one will be a really good perennial herb out there. And also probably all of these, I've got perennial basil and a lemon verbena cutting, so those can probably all go out straight into the garden, and that way I don't have to deal with more pots because I have way too many pots on the go. Okay, so it is time to rip out this bottle gourd vine. It is still thriving, it's still growing heaps of new leaves and shoots, but it's started to get too cold now that the fruit aren't actually going to ripen in time. And we're getting a lot more rain and wind and it's smashing it about. And because of this vine climbing all over my structures, I still have shade cloth up, which means all of the little veggies down below aren't getting enough light, and that's really slowing down the production of that bed for something that isn't really going to fruit anymore. So it's time to rip this out. Okay, so now I have a whole pile of the leftover vines and greens that need to go into the compost bin, and I have a relatively clean garden bed with some space to plant more things. So let's do that too. Alright, so we've got some more room for planting in here, which I love, and I'm going to pop some random garlic bulbs in amongst most of these garden beds. I'll probably put them around the edges and the sides so that they don't get overshadowed, because I'm going to pop some bigger plants here in the middle so that that takes up some of that room. But first I might give this a bit of a water so that it is nice and refreshed. Alright, so another job that I want to do is I want to give this rocket a really good haircut. It's been growing through summer in a lot of hot, dry weather, and so it's really, really spicy and I'm just not eating it. So I'm going to give it a good haircut, pop it in the compost, and then it's going to regrow new growth that will hopefully be a little bit less spicy because we're getting a lot more cool weather and a lot more water. Alright, so next up I need to get rid of this one here as well. I can pop that straight in the compost here. This is another gourd that's end of life, but I've already got some plants on the go here, so I've already got some beans planted that are starting to climb up this trellis, so I need to get rid of this and I've been putting it off. part of my strategy with succession planting is that if I know something is going to be ripped out eventually, I'll start planting around the base of it, just so that those plants are already growing, they're already on their way, so that when I do eventually get around to pulling out any annuals, that space becomes productive pretty quickly. I also like to have compost bins as close and convenient as I can to each garden. That stops me from procrastinating and makes it so much easier to get things composted and also utilise that soil when it's ready. Alright, so a little bit tidier and now plenty of light and room for the beans to start climbing up. There's always something to harvest in my kitchen gardens, which I love, and because they are right outside my kitchen, I can see the bright red chilies from the window and I know when it's time to go out and pick them. There are so many little birds in this front garden and I can't wait to get started on my next project, which is going to be just for them. So make sure you are subscribed to see that come to life.